Life can be so full of noise, can it? Just so much going on all the time. Work, our families, money, just trying to keep it all together, it can really feel like you're being pulled in a million different directions. So let's just take a moment, explore this together, and see if we can find a way back to some quiet, back to our center. You know, sometimes right in the middle of all that chaos, you might just stop and realize you feel a little lost, kind of like you're just drifting, you know? Disconnected from your purpose, from your own sense of peace, disconnected from Him.
Hey, if that's how you're feeling right now, I really want you to hear this. You are so not alone. And what's even more important, you have not been abandoned. Actually, that feeling of being lost might just be the most important sign you could ever get.
Because that feeling of being lost, it's not a punishment. It's the beginning of a call. It's an invitation from the one who cares about you more than anyone, calling you back home, you know? Back to the straight path, away from all the confusion.
The Quran gives us this really powerful, and maybe at first glance, kind of confusing instruction. It says, "So flee to Allah. Indeed, I am a clear warner." Now wait a minute. You flee from something you're scared of, right? But here, we're being told to flee to the very one we're also being warned about. It really does sound like a total contradiction, doesn't it? How can you run towards something that you're also supposed to fear? Well, this right here, this actually explains everything about what it truly means to fear Allah, and I promise you, it's not what you think.
Just imagine this for a second. There's a little girl, maybe 2 years old, and she's toddling right towards a hot barbecue. Her dad sees the danger, and he yells loud and sharp, "Don't." Now that shout, it scares her. But where does she run? She doesn't run away from her dad, no way. She turns right around and runs straight into his arms, clinging to him for safety. She's running from the real danger, that fire, to the person who warned her out of pure love and protection.
And that's the whole point. This isn't a fear of some scary tyrant. It's the fear of disappointing someone you love more than anything. It's the fear of losing that connection, of losing that mercy, that incredible unconditional love. It's the kind of fear that makes you run towards safety, towards ultimate security, not away from it.
And you know what's beautiful? He doesn't just sit back and wait for you to figure it out. He actively invites you back. And a lot of the time, this invitation comes to us in 4 stages. It's like this gentle, loving process designed to guide you all the way home.
So this path back home, it often happens in a few stages. First, you have the gentle reminders. And if maybe we miss those whispers, it might become a kind of loving discipline. After that, we might face compelling hardships, things that are really meant to get our attention. And then there's the final stage, one we should all pray we never have to face. Let's break down what these really mean.
Stage 1 is just a gentle whisper. And honestly, it can feel surprisingly modern. Maybe a YouTube video just pops up in your feed, and wow, it's the exact message you needed to hear. Or you listen to a sermon, and it feels like the speaker is talking directly to you about the very thing you were thinking about all week. These are those first, gentle little nudges back in the right direction.
Now, if we miss those whispers, the call gets a little bit louder. Stage 2 is what we can call loving discipline. A problem might pop up in your life, but it's not a punishment. Think of it like medicine. It's a wake-up call meant to make you stronger and encourage you to turn to Him for help. And if that still doesn't work, stage 3 can bring what are called compelling hardships, bigger tests that really make it clear that we need to change our direction.
But if after all of those calls, the whispers, the loving discipline, the hardships, we still choose to turn away, we get to the 4th, and honestly, the most terrifying stage. And it's not some big disaster or lightning bolt, it's silence. It's when He simply lets you go, letting you have all the worldly things you were chasing instead. And being left alone by the one who loves you most, well, that is the greatest loss there is.
But hey, you're here, you're listening to this, that means you're hearing the call. So, okay, what's the very first practical step you can take on this journey back? It might not be what you think.
So before you start trying to add 1,000 new good deeds to your list, the advice is to start by removing the don'ts. Think about it like this. Sin literally creates a barrier. If you're looking at haram right before you go to sleep, it makes it almost impossible to wake up for Fajr prayer. So the first step isn't piling on more things to do, it's about cleaning your heart. Stop the backbiting, the lying, the things you know in your gut are wrong. You just can't build a strong house on a broken foundation.
And there's this really beautiful, simple formula for this cleaning process.
It's 4 things to have less of and 1 really important thing to have more of. Less idle talk, less sleeping more than you need, less overeating, and less time with people who just pull you away from what's important. So what do you fill all that new space with? More dhikr, more remembrance of Allah. That is the ultimate cleaning agent for the heart.
When you start cleaning your heart, something really amazing starts to happen. The goal itself just shifts. It stops being about avoiding punishment or just checking boxes off a list. It starts to become about building a real, genuine, loving relationship. It's about transforming your connection with him from feeling like a stranger to feeling like he's your best friend.
So, make Allah your best friend. Seriously, talk to him, not just in your formal prayers, but all the time. Tell him about your day, tell him your secret hopes, your biggest fears, that little win you had at work, that silly mistake you made. He isn't some distant king on a throne. He is closer to you than your own jugular vein. Always there, always waiting, always ready to listen.
And when you start thinking like this, everything changes. Your prayers aren't just an obligation anymore. They become a conversation. Your good deeds aren't just points for some heavenly scorecard. They become acts of love, things you do because you just don't want to disappoint the one who loves you more than anyone ever could.
So this journey back, it doesn't have to wait for some perfect moment. It can start right now, with just one simple conversation. So just think, what's the first thing you want to tell your best friend?